What's up guys, and welcome back to another Convicted Alarm video. Now today we're going to be talking about skyblock, Hypixel and hytale. Now there's some exciting news going on with hytale, and also I'm going to be talking about everything Hypixel. Now you're going to be seeing some background gameplay, and I hope you enjoying this video because I think I'm going to be the one editing it this time instead of my normal editor. But yeah, hope you guys do enjoy this video. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe and turn notifications for more of this content. Right, let's get into the video. So, first thing I want to talk about is the current state of skyblock. So, basically, I'd say you've got a few groups of people who are actually engaged with the new content, such as dungeons and say the mayor update, and then you've got people who just log on to collect their minions or like don't do very much on the game. Now, I'll get into problems with that later, but so you've got one thing I wanted to talk about. My friend recently had a trouble with combat requirements for armor. Now, I found this interesting because they added these recently, and so what he's done, he's bought strong armor off the auction house without actually having the combat level requirement for it, which is level 16, which honestly isn't too hard to get, but he's been struggling for a bit. So yeah, I wanted to think about that. Basically, it's weird because what he's done, he hasn't played the game very much. He's just sat on his, I think he has diamond minions, and waited for them to generate enough money for him to buy strong armor. Now that's about 3 mil if you don't know, and it's a very good armor set. It adds 75 damage to an aspect of the end, which is a great early game weapon, and but yeah, he couldn't use it whatsoever. Now this raises an interesting point as to, I think, well, they're both good and bad, these combat requirements, because it stops new players from being able to reach players who've been playing the game longer, and also it stops people from not actually playing the game, which will drive up the amount of players, and it's good for the Hypixel in general. But yeah, also, well, now you've obviously got the debate of the new update, which didn't introduce too much, but it's still quite a lot of interesting content. Now also recently they had this weird candidate. It was a special candidate they have once in a while, and he would bribe you to vote for him. Now I found this interesting because like 95% of the player base voted for him because he was offering you 250,000 coins to vote for him, which obviously you're going to take. But I found it really weird because you've obviously got the mayor update, which added the community centre and also changed some stuff about. So you had the introduction of booster cookies. Now these were a touchy subject among the community, but I feel like are a good thing for Hypixel because I think they said they doubled their development team, which is great for everyone involved because that means more Hypixel, more everything to do with it, which is just great. But also it did have an impact on the skyblock economy. Now if you don't know what insider trading is, it's basically when someone buys something, buys coins with real money through dodgy people, players in game, and this often resulted in scams, which is why Hypixel introduced this new some people would call it pay to win method. Now the booster cookies give you bits and other things as well, and you can also buy gems. Now this didn't make it completely pay to win, but it made some things easier to do, such as minion slots. It just took less time. Now by now it should have evened out because I've got like nearly 5 minion slots extra from the new update, which is just great. But yeah, they added it so to stop scamming and stop insider trading, and it's also made there be less false bans, which are a very bad thing for skyblock, which is great. So it's great for everything. Now what I think they should add to skyblock. Now this is an interesting topic because it's very difficult to know what Hypixel can add to skyblock and what they can't, because I still think Hypixel is running on either 1.7 or 1.8 because they have a plugin that makes it work on most versions, and this creates something where they can't say you wanted to make like a far end island. I believe this was suggested by 30 Virus once, and but players that were on 1.8 wouldn't be able to access things like shulkers and stuff, but other players would. Now this is strange because obviously they're not gonna update it for future proofing because, well, one, they've got Hytale coming out, and two, 1.16 is actually really bad for servers. It's really bad for performance. It doesn't support large server networks such as Hypixel. So yeah, you've ended up with a situation where you'd think they would be adding stuff and they would want to add. Well, what I would suggest is just they add a new island to get us over the line to Hytale. So if you remember the park update, now that added 3 new talismans or something. Yeah, 3 new quest talismans. Also, you've got each of the wood collections having more detail behind them. You had the melancholic Viking, all of that stuff. Now, if you did that again, that would create enough content that YouTubers were to bring back hype to the game, and also help them sort of finish the game off towards Hytale's release. Now, speaking of Hytale, I think Hypixel hasn't released a major game mode. They've done small updates on some of the games, but they haven't released a major game mode since Skyblock. You've got the seasonal things, but they're almost the same every year. But yeah, you haven't had a major game mode update or anything really other than Skyblock for over a year now, which is why obviously they're making Hytale. If you don't know what Hytale is, it's basically a version of Minecraft that Hypixel are making. It's not really a version of Minecraft, it's a new game, and it will create sort of a way that Hypixel can make their own stuff and sort of branch out from Minecraft, and it will be easier for them to develop stuff. Now, they have partnered with Riot Games, which is very interesting for me, because if you don't know, Riot Games make, I think they make League of Legends, which is quite a popular game, and yeah, and also the booster cookies have helped in developing Hytale as well. Now, the great thing about Hytale is you can make your own servers. It's not just going to be the main Hypixel network now. So you've got you can make your own servers, and there's also going to be the main Hypixel network, which is going to be great fun for everybody, I'm pretty sure. Now, I've got some plans for Hytale, so I'm going to hopefully be making content on both making servers, playing the Hypixel network, and also the survival, like normal vanilla, as you would call it. And also, so Skyblock as a whole is not going to be lasting for too long. Now, they've got a release date. Well, they haven't really got a release date. They've said it's going to be coming out in 2021, which is quite vague. So it could be a year from now, or it could be in 4 months, say. But yeah, we've at least got some news from Hytale, and hopefully we have some great stuff coming up. Now, I think we should be on the Bed Wars footage by now, and if you didn't see, there is Halloween maps in Bed Wars now, which is quite cool. Obviously, I'm not very good at Bed Wars, but I still like the game mode. Which is one thing I don't know. They still update maps and stuff on other game modes, which I find probably good for the game, or good for Hypixel in general. And yeah, right. Sort of linking it all together, we've got Hytale obviously coming out, and I plan on hopefully making myself a server. I'm not sure how that's going to work so far. It might be quite difficult because I'm not very good with all this coding stuff and things like that. But yeah, so we should be on the Halloween map currently, and I just find it interesting that they're able to make these maps. I think the Hypixel build team is actually brilliant. Hopefully they can carry that over into Hytale. And yeah. So yeah, I'm quite excited for Hytale because it's going to bring new content for me, obviously, and help everybody in the community, even Hypixel itself. Now yeah, to finish off, I think I'm going to discuss a topic that is pretty strange. So in Skyblock, you've got the early game, mid game, and end game players. Now, the problem with this is it becomes way too easy to go from early game to mid game, and then it's really hard to get from mid game to end game because of demand. Now, these end game players are driving down the price of things like dragon armor, high end weapons, and that's causing the mid game players or early game players to be able to get their hands on these items, and then the items that are slightly above that go shooting up in price. Now this is interesting because you've got the high end players that have lots of these items and can sell them for cheap to the low end players, which also boost the value of everything, which is a bit strange. Now, the way I think Hypixel needs to stop this is, you see, one of the best, like there's 5 or 6 armor sets based around dragons, but the problem is dragons aren't worth doing because summoning eyes are too expensive, and they've become too expensive because people want to do dragons, but there's only, because the protector, I can't remember what the other ones are called, the bad ones are selling for nothing, and superior is selling for millions and millions of coins. Now that's a problem because you've got people that obviously want to get superior and are grinding so much, and then it's not actually worth their grind to do that, which is a bit of a problem for them. But yeah, you've ended up with people with too good stuff for the amount of time played by, because you've got minions who can just work for you without you actually playing, and if you have super compactors you can just sit on them for ages and ages and not have to play and just be generating money constantly. Now, I've kind of experienced this recently actually. I've now managed to get my minions to make me about 1 million coins a day, which is absolutely ridiculous. So I'm making money basically, which is just great. So yeah, I'm really excited for Hytale. I'm really excited for the future of Skyblock, even though it may be short-lived. We're not sure yet, and hopefully the Minecraft Hypixel network hasn't finished just yet, and we can see more gamers being added. Hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and thank you very much for watching to this point. I hope you guys do enjoy this new style of content I've been trying to do. It really helps to know your feedback, so make sure to leave comments, and make sure you discuss anything I mentioned in this video. But for now guys, that's going to be it. Goodbye.